How has the United States supported radical Islam? As I mentioned, just as Britain did before it. I won't comment on the British role, but if you want to learn about it, there's quite a good book on it by a very good British diplomatic historian, Mark Curtis, who discusses in detail, going back to the documentary record, how Britain supported radical Islam during its period of dominance. The U.S. has done it always. The major center of radical Islam, extremist radical Islam, is Saudi Arabia, unquestionably. They're the source of the Wahhabization of the region, which Patrick Coburn points out as one of the major developments of the modern era. Who's the main supporter of Saudi Arabia? You are. Now, that's where your tax dollars go, and for a long time. Right now, tens of billions of dollars of arms being sent under Obama, but it goes way back. In fact, the strong U.S. relation with Israel developed out of this. The United States and Israel had close relations, but not unusual, through the 1950s and early 60s. That changed in 1967. What happened in 1967? Israel performed a huge service to the United States and its Saudi Arabian ally. Saudi Arabia has been and remains the center of extremist, radical, fundamentalist Islam, with offshoots in the jihadi movements and so on, including ISIS. At the time, the center of secular nationalism was Nasser's Egypt, and there was a conflict between the two of them. In fact, they were at war. They were at war in the Yemen at the time. Israel administered a very serious blow to secular nationalism. It devastated the Egyptian army in Syria, and it saved Saudi Arabia and offered a great boon to the United States. And in fact, if you check back, it's at that time that the unusual, in fact unique, relationship between Israel and the United States developed. And in fact, it continues after that. I could give more examples if there was time. But that has been a consistent pattern. There are a few exceptions here and there. So sometimes the United States has supported secular Islamic states. The most extreme and interesting example is Saddam Hussein, who was greatly loved by the Reagan administration and by the Bush 1 administration. Could give you the details. They were so supportive of Saddam Hussein that he was even given a gift that otherwise only Israel has been granted, no other country. He was permitted to attack a U.S. naval vessel, killing a couple of dozen American sailors, and to get away with it with just a tap on the wrist. Israel had done the same thing in 1967. Saddam Hussein did it in 1987, and the friendship for Saddam Hussein was so enormous that he was granted that right. And that was a secular state. In fact, George Bush #1 even invited Iraqi nuclear engineers to the United States for advanced training in nuclear weapons production. That's pretty supportive relationship. So there are cases where the United States has supported secular Islam, but typically it's radical Islam that has been the beneficiary of U.S. support, like Britain before it.